Good evening, Matt Awkward.
Hello, Tristan.
Happy 100th
Happy
episode.
100th episode, dude.
Woo! Wow. We're fancy.
September 22nd, 2018.
Man, a day that will live in infamy.
Yeah.
Wow. It's insane. That's really exciting.
I looked that fun fact up right before I came.
Good job. I did not know that. Wow. So we're going to get that kind of Seinfeld money when our shit goes into syndication? Is that the plan?
Yeah, totally syndicated.
Damn.
WB has been calling me all day.
Can't wait.
Just been too busy looking at tape sales on internet.
Of course you have. Man. And we picked a wonderful movie for our 100th episode.
As I stated it today, it's a movie we both love 100%.
And that's going to be a tough one because there literally is. I don't think there are any moves in this movie that weren't intentional. So there's not a lot to pick apart. There's not a lot to explain.
It's a perfect movie to me.
I absolutely
It falls
agree.
into that category of perfect. There's nothing in this movie I would.
Yeah,
change.
I don't know what you could change in this movie to make it better. But the movie we are referring to is, of course, Terrorvision.
And if you've seen it as much as we have, you probably have the theme song in your head now.
It could just be that it's like completely indie and I don't know where it is.
Yep.
But these guys were like a constant band at the same club that Ted Nicolau found Mary Warnov at.
Oh, okay.
So when he finally met her, it was at this club that the Fibonacci's played all the time called Club Lingerie. And so
maybe you're not finding it because it's kind of one of those things that's hard to.
It might be.
It's 30 years later, past the fact, and
Could
they're not
be.
together anymore.
Yeah.
It's like looking for a Confusatron album 30 years from now.
Oh, man. Come on. Don't say that. You know that they'll be able to find a Confusatron album
It's
somewhere.
fantastic stuff. I just wanted to give a random shout out to Confusatron.
Nice. Shout out to
Shout
Confusatron.
out to Confusatron. They're damn good. But like, imagine like hearing a Confusatron song and be like, that's so fucking cool.
Where do I find this?
Where do I find this?
Well, I mean, nowadays you probably, it's going to be on Bandcamp for eternity, so
Yeah.
you'd be able to find something like that. Whereas back in the 80s.
That's good for Confusatron.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's a sad story for like bands of the 80s that they just kind of disappear. And that's too bad. Hopefully.
Yo, you Fibonacci's, you got to get your stuff on the Bandcamp.
Yeah, come on, guys. Get that up on Bandcamp. I would buy a Fibonacci's record in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
That is like I always hate the term post-punk because it bums me out. But I like this band, like that kind of art punk shit that follows the B-52s and that kind of stuff. So into it.
And I like that they were also trying to get I read the Cramps and Frank Zappa.
Okay.
Or Lux and Frank Zappa.
Yeah, Lux Interior to score it,
Yep.
and he actually got Frank Zappa to watch it.
Apparently, yeah.
Okay. And I have something that I want to throw out there into the universe to find out because I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked, could not find it. They play a sequence from Robot Monster where the voice of the monster is overdubbed. Mm-hmm. It is not the Roman.
Oh, it isn't?
It is not the voice of the Roman. It is a different
I don't know my
voice.
old movies
And
well
the
enough to-
voice sounds like this. And I was like, motherfucker, that's Frank Zappa. That's gotta be Frank Zappa. Like, I heard that, and then I found out the fun fact afterwards. Like, when I was watching this really closely, I was like, that sounds like Zappa. And then I found out the fun fact about him being tangentially related to the movie.
But you couldn't figure out if that
but
was...
I looked everywhere. No one says anything about that.
You have Teddy on speed
I
dial, right?
actually kind of do, so I might send him a message. Mm-hmm. Unless he listened to that other one.
Do his friends call him Teddy?
I don't know the answer to that question. But we did talk a lot about Terrorvision. I might drop a few things in here because there were some interesting things that he mentioned about Terrorvision.
It's our 100th episode. Make it interesting.
Why not throw some stuff in?
Like everything with Charlie in those days, it was a poster first. And the poster was a goofy looking monster, not at all like the monster that we ended up with, coming out of a TV set and a satellite dish. So it's basically monster comes through a satellite dish out of a TV set. And that was the concept. And he said, what about this film? And at that time I had edited enough of his movies and had edited enough of John Buechler, the makeup effect, the creature effects guy, of his work to kind of know what the strengths and weaknesses were. And I said, you know what, Charlie, I'll do this movie, but can I make it a comedy? And even though Charlie was not known for comedies at the time, he said, yeah. So basically that was it. I took that idea, decided to kind of make all the characters a little bit off-putting so that you wouldn't care when they all got killed, and then did a lot of research about survivalism, and about there was, it was all kind of based on what the world was like at that time in Los Angeles. And then the script was the script. It's pretty much the same script that you see on screen. But what elevated the script beyond anything was the production designer, Giovanni Nautalucci, this crazy Italian guy, came over to Los Angeles to meet and talk about the film. We spent days kind of looking at, valley houses, not going there, but looking in location books and talking about the kind of craziness of this house. And he went back and designed these sets that, when I first came to Italy and saw the sets, I was like, whoa, this is so far crazier than I even imagined it was going to be. Second thing that elevated the film was Buechler, who was tasked to create the Hungry Beast. We had a lot of fights about the monster, because I wanted something asymmetrical and something with a lot of appendages, and the tentacle with the eye, and a big stupid tail that would kind of wag like a dog, and looking a bit like a giant booger or something. And it kind of defied what he wanted to do. So we fought a lot about it, but he ended up, and his team of really incredible sculptors, created this character that was really wonderful. Then the next thing that elevated it was the casting. I wanted Mary Warrenoff to be. I saw Mary Warrenoff a lot at the time at a club called Club Lingerie in Los Angeles, and it was kind of the new wave days, I guess. And saw her there a lot, and got it in my head that she would be great as Medusa, the horror hostess. So we sent her a script, asked her to come in. She came in to meet with us, and she said, this character Medusa, I could play this character, and this is the character that most people would just immediately think of me to play. But what I'd really like to play is the mother. And Mary Warrenoff is like the least maternal person you've ever met. But the idea of her playing the mother just kind of was like, oh, wow, okay. Sometimes in casting that you just get totally surprised, and then Garrett Graham came in and just nailed the part. So the two of them together, then once we found Diane Franklin and John Grise, was like, the movie was elevated another level, and so got to Italy, saw the location, saw the sets, and was just like mind blown. And then the movie itself, making the film, Garrett and Mary kind of set a certain tone. Diane Franklin was able to reach that tone as well. John Grise sort of was worried that it was too over the top, but he met it and exceeded it, so it was a happy accident of all these elements. The script was always a script, but the script is black and white words on paper, and then the colors of the set, and then the colors of the costumes, and the characters, and the monster, and the goop, and the contribution of the Italian cinematographer, just really, that film just took off, and it's got its flaws, like all of my films, and maybe the ending is too nihilistic or something, although to me it seemed like the only natural ending to the movie. So So yeah, I mean, and that movie was, when it was first released, got just hated by the critics, and totally fell out of the theaters in a week. And but somehow it became so difficult to find after the VHSs wore out that its reputation kind of grew and grew and grew. And my kind of idea was, when I was making it, even though all the erotic art on the wall is like, outside of the realm of a kid's movie, I wanted it to be like when I was a kid, I saw Invaders from Mars, the original, on TV.
It's
And
got some Invaders from Mars in it, definitely.
Yeah,
I can feel that.
Yeah, it's got Invaders from Mars. It's got a little bit of 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. There was something about the expressionistic set design of those movies that really touched me as a kid and haunted me. I saw just bits and pieces of those movies before I saw the whole film, and I wanted Terrorvision to be like that. When you saw it, you would just be like, "What the fuck was that?" And I guess we succeeded in that. And I'm super happy that after a year of misery after it first came out, that it continues to be kind of like this thing that kids kind of turn their friends on to.
So one of the things that I noticed in this like super close viewing for a podcast of Terrorvision was that this movie feels like maybe a parody of Invaders from Mars. It feels like it has so many of the elements of, like, or like he was trying to make an Invaders from Mars that was all 80s tropes. Because it's like, it's got that same feeling where everything feels like a weird soundstage, like everything is like overly fake. And then there's this distrust of parents and this distrust of everyone.
Well, that's what's so unique about this too, is the fakeness. Like you can tell they're on a soundstage when they're outside. The house is so everything is
so
over the top,
wonderfully
so exaggerated,
fake and plasticky.
The colors are just amazing. Everything's got that reddish and green hues to it all the time. Like it's just so neat looking.
Yeah, and I mean that was one of the things about Invaders from Mars too, was that it had a lot of that kind of crazy color palette and all that stuff. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of, if he was trying to reference that at all. But yeah, so the thing that stands out here is the completely nonsensy 60s vibe to all of the space stuff. We open on the planet Pluton sanitation department, which is just like the most wonderful 60s pile of like, it's like a Mystery Science Theater set. It's like literally a bunch of toys painted different colors to look like things.
Yep.
It's a fucking Enterprise model upside down.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a Star Trek ship model for the ray gun that blasts our creature into space.
The Hungry Beast.
The Hungry Beast.
Which is a wonderful name. So we get our first glimpse of the Hungry Beast in here, and I gotta say, so you know what? First actual question about this movie that I don't have an answer for.
Okay.
What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, apparently, I think Pluthar, or whatever his name is, he says they beam these guys out to space, I think, when they get out of control.
Right, so they mutate.
So I don't know if the Hungry Beast always mutates, or like, is it like 1 in 100 Hungry Beasts? Like, oh shit, you got a mutated Hungry Beast. Bring it to the upside down Star Trek ship, and we send it off to space for you.
That definitely was the joke. Was the idea that it's usually a very happy, fun pet that brings joy to its owners, but then occasionally they mutate and want to destroy
and they
entire
eat
planets.
Everything.
Yeah. And so okay. So I guess what we're assuming is that it was supposed to beam it into the sun or something like that.
Its particles get distributed all across space is what happens.
Okay, so instead of that happening...
It all got harnessed back into the satellite dish, the do-it-yourself 100.
It got bounced off a bunch of planets, bing, 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 bing,
So
bing, 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 in a wonderful little scene, and then gets absorbed by Garrett Graham's do-it-yourself 100 satellite dish.
And I just want to say, I love Garrett Graham.
I mean, that goes without
He
saying,
is a treasure.
but of course.
And he's a returning guest on the show. He was in Bud the Chud.
He was in Bud the Chud.
That's what you call a guest.
Yes, that's what I call a guest.
talked about this guy playing another guy before. He's a guest now.
He's my best friend.
Yeah.
You know what? In this day and age, that's as close as it's going to get. But like I was saying, we did see, when we saw the beast, I guess a description is in order. He looks like he looks kind of like a can of Spam with eyes and teeth.
Yeah.
If you really want to boil it down.
Like full, just this part, or when we actually fully voice?
No, when we see him here,
he's
we
just
see
like a wall of flesh
wall.
behind a little porthole window. Yeah.
And it's a different monster, right? Like it does not. It doesn't
does
look
a little
the same.
weird. Maybe the glass distorts it a little.
Sure. Either way.
Maybe he looks different because his molecules were all scattered, brained across.
That's
space.
what happened when he reformed. His molecules got all different.
It's like the Fly.
It's just like the Fly. There was probably some spam in there with him, and he got all spammed up. Get all spammed up?
That'd be a much different version of the Fly. Oh shit! I went through with my dinner from last night.
God, I'm so salty.
I don't see where the dinner is now, though. Oh no!
God, why am I so delicious?
Is spam delicious? I haven't had it since I was like 10. I remember when I was young, I discovered my dad introduced me to Monty Python. That was the first time I'd ever even heard of spam, and I had him buy me some because I needed to know what it tasted like, and I was like, "Oh, this is ham," but I haven't had it since.
Yeah, the only exposure I've had in my adult life to spam or spam-like product was so. We went to the cursed Woodstock in the 90s, and me and a friend of mine, I couldn't afford to go, so he bought me a ticket. He was like, he actually had a real job and I didn't, and we went down. We stayed in a tent, but we didn't have enough money to eat food, so for 4 days we survived on nothing but a thing of bananas that somebody gave us, and we had some water. But my friend had made some sort of potato salad thing, and it had treat, Treet, I think, a canned meat, a potted meat substance.
Yes, it's cheaper spam.
Yes, it's the cheaper version. It's imitation spam. And
Fuck, do they still make treat? I don't even know.
God, I hope not. All I know was that it was in a container, in a cooler, in his car for 4 days while we were there, and we got back and we were like, fuck it, I don't care. And we ate that whole goddamned thing because we hadn't eaten in 4 days. We were fine. So that is the power of spam.
Oh my gosh.
I think that it's all the salt.
Or the power of Limp Bizkit.
It was probably the power of
Maybe
Limp
that
Bizkit.
granted you magic stomach powers.
I think you're right. Oh, anyway. Okay, so we get introduced now to the Putterman family. Mom is doing aerobics in front of the TV. She is played by
Raquel.
Mary Warnall.
Love her.
Love her, obviously. And this little introduction is basically everyone comes out when their TV fritzes out to show that they're not a very unified family here. They are all watching TV in their own little worlds, and they only get together when, you know, the daughter can't see the new Noodles video. And
I want to see the Noodles video.
I want to see that fucking Noodles video so bad. That's the kind of thing. That's why I wouldn't be a billionaire for long, is that I would just be like, okay, here's $1 million. Make the Noodles video. Tell me what it is. Ted,
put out a new version of this on Blu-ray with that as a special feature.
Special feature. You need to direct this with everybody else involved. It's amazing.
What a crazy thing to spend money on.
It's the kind of shit that it's all I think about when I think about, like, if I had too much money.
It's what I wish people with too much money would do instead of the evil stuff they do.
Why do they just keep making evil things instead of doing, like, insane creative projects? I think that's
Make a Noodles video, you rich goobs.
Yeah, come on. Jeff Bezos, where's my Noodles video?
Noodles video.
You could put it on Prime when you
freaking rent it for 99 cents.
When you stream Terrorvision, you can see the new Noodles video. Either way, so Garrett Graham's dicking around with the satellite dish. It fritzes out, blows up.
I love this satellite dish with the do-it-yourself 100 spray painted like army stencil on the front. It's hilarious, and I also love just the kind of time capsule that this movie is. Because I remember, and I'm sure you do too, growing up, driving past everybody's houses that had those giant ass satellite dishes in their front yard.
Yep.
I thought it would be so funny. I saw one. There's one out on Warren Ave for a pool store, and it's like in the back. You can see it. I walked by it the other day when I was getting a new windshield put on my car, because I like things being clear. So I was walking down and I saw that satellite dish and I was like, holy shit, that'd be so funny to buy that and put that on my front yard. As like almost like a decoration. But like,
there must be signal.
I don't know.
There must be some signal.
I don't know if that's
you're not getting.
It's not like I work in the TV industry. I don't know what's going through the air. I have no idea.
Why would I think that I could get an answer for that from you?
I have no idea if
Johnny runs a TV studio.
I have no idea if that kind of signal was shut off just like the analog signal when we went digital or not.
But not all of the analog. I mean, obviously shit like the Playboy channel or like HBO or like all those things. Those are all
Channel 69.
Was it really Channel 69?
That's what he said in this when he popped up the porn.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the Playboy channel was Channel 69.
It should have been.
My God. I was just thinking about that. We were talking about, I was like, one of my friends had a satellite TV. Who the fuck was it? It was the same guy that I went to fucking Woodstock with.
Oh, nutso.
He had a satellite TV. And there was insane shit on there.
Oh, yeah. My buddy did too. And I remember sneaking the insane shit at night, sleeping over his place.
It was crazy.
Yeah, the giant big guys. I wonder if those satellite dishes do work. Like if your little dish satellite breaks, you could just like wire that big. I've got the old one in the back.
Absolutely. Pull that out. Yeah. I'm sure there's got to be a way to use it the same way that you could use like a dish TV.
Yeah.
But I mean, why?
That's what I'd do if I had those millions of bucks. I'd probably buy a giant ass satellite and have do-it-yourself 100 spray painted on it and have that right in the front yard.
Damn, that is so worth it.
Drinking some Heinies by my satellite dish.
Can you believe that they got money from Heineken for this movie? That blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a movie like this with that level of product placement.
Yes. I wonder if that was like a lie to get the monies.
No, there's no way. It was too clear. It had to be product placement.
Oh, no, I know it was, but like convincing the Heineken people like, oh, this is a serious movie about an alien invasion that takes place. And I had no idea it was going to be so wonky.
I mean, what did Full Moon have going to theaters? They actually had like real stuff going out at that point though, right?
They had real stuff before.
Yeah, I think that they had enough of a track record.
Yeah.
That I think that at that point you could probably convince somebody.
Yeah.
It wasn't like after they'd released Killer Bong 6 or whatever.
Yeah, no, the bridges are burnt.
Oh my God. Full Moon's bridges are burned with me, for God's sake. I mean, let alone the real world at large. Jesus. Okay, so I love the daughter in this.
Yes.
She has... Like, I love any of these references to Cyndi Lauper, but her, like, Cyndi Lauper wig is, like, 3 wigs glued together and then spray painted different colors.
That's awesome.
That's fucking brilliant. Honestly, I love all of the costuming in this. It's all super, super cool.
Yeah, and she's great, too. It's Diane Franklin from
Which
Better
is
Off Dead,
also kind of nuts. That
Yep.
She went from Better Off Dead to going into Terrorvision.
And it's so funny, man. I had no idea. I've loved Better Off Dead and Terrorvision for so long, and it wasn't until just a couple years ago that I realized that they were the same.
Yeah, I never made that connection until fairly recently.
Yep.
Bizarre. Okay, so...
But yeah, she's distraught because she's missing the Noodles video.
She's missing the Noodles video. And
Raquel's distraught because she was right in the middle of her workout.
And Grandpa now shows up to interrupt this scene. The other thing about this, aside from just the fact that it's got all these like really cartoonish sets, it also is like pulled together like a stage play, which is funny because like Ted Nicolau is like a film guy. He's not he doesn't write for stage or anything like that, but it's like there are all these like dialogue things going on, and then somebody bursts open through a door and says, "Hi, I'm here, and this is what my character is about." And like it just feels really weird. It feels like it's for stage. In fact, this movie could be adapted to a play easily.
Or a musical with the Noodles video intact.
Fuck.
They did a Toxic Avenger musical, right?
Yeah. At one point, I was trying to get a Bubba Hotep musical off the ground because we had some sort of in, and then I just couldn't get the rest of Covered in Bees on board with writing an entire Bubba Hotep musical.
That's a big job.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And we had some good ideas, but we never followed through, sadly.
Bummer.
Yeah, it's too bad. That would have been fun. Even if it never went anywhere, it'd still be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's got their own little thing. So mom's an aerobics obsessed person. Dad is just an idiot. The daughter is a ditzy MTV obsessed person. Granddad comes in the door, and he turns out to be an insane survivalist.
I love his hat with all the toy airplanes.
Well, he's based on a real person.
I saw that. I just learned that today when looking up stuff for
So
the show.
weird.
General Hershey Bar? Is it?
Something like that. Is it General
I
Hershey
think it's
Bar?
General Hershey Bar.
Colonel Chocolate? Whatever. It's something.
It's a Clue character.
He was either way. He was like some sort of street performer.
Yeah.
And he just dressed up like a crazy person. I saw a photo of him, and it's like, oh, like really based on him. Like he had all the planes glued to his.
Yeah, like so based on him. I hope they paid him.
They definitely did not.
Yeah.
But it is crazy how much he looks like him.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
And I forgot the name of the actor playing Gramps, but he's been on the show before too, because he was in Sundown.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that. He's a veteran character actor.
He's been in a ton of things, but I bet you Sundown and Terrorvision are probably my two faves.
Hell yeah! I'm so glad that I got you to watch Sundown.
Yeah. I'm so glad that it's not like you forced me to. I'd never heard of the damn thing.
It's so funny.
I loved it.
Yeah, I was so into that movie.
Yeah.
That's another perfect movie as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
So, all right. So Survivalist Wacko, and then the youngest child, whose name is Sherman, like the Sherman tank.
Oh.
He is basically Grandpa's protege in being a survivalist wacko.
I love that Grandpa just pulls out a real gun and starts firing at the kid, and everybody's just like, "Oh, Gramps."
And this movie is such a treasure for that reason as well. For the fact that, like you say, it's a time capsule, but it is such everyone is an exact parody of a personality trait from the 80s. Like, this is the Rambo movie, militaristic, obsessed Reaganite. You know, that trope that existed there. And it's so perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all I need of that to remember what that was from that time. And yet another reason I love it. So here's an interesting thing that goes on here. So, got to mention the fact that his whole shtick is that he breeds lizards because their tails fall off.
What a weird character trait that doesn't come into play at all.
I think this was a real thing.
What was
Maybe I'm crazy. I think this was a survivalist trope that he must have read about and was like, holy shit.
That's so weird. I got to use that.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, they're generating animal protein by feeding them whatever, and you can eat their tails and they'll just regenerate, and you can just do it over and over again.
But it's one of those weird things where usually when they do something like that, and they spend a lot of time with it. I mean, he wears that sign. He's eating with Sherman. He shares some with OD or offers him to, like, they keep talking about the damn lizard tail jerky, but there's no payoff whatsoever.
No. It's
not like they cut the monster's tail off later, and it's like, oh, he's growing it back just like a lizard. You know, they don't.
We gotta make jerky out of him.
I mean, they talk about lizard tail jerky for the first 20 minutes, and then just forget about it.
That's true.
Okay,
that's fine.
It don't bother me none. It's just kind of odd.
It is very odd. Okay, and so, for some reason, while Dad is fucking around with the satellite, which clearly has been working this whole time because everybody's been watching TV.
Yeah.
The guy that sold it to him is in his backyard with him, watching him work and drinking his beer.
Guzzling his heinies.
Guzzling his heinies.
I can't even get a heinie for the road.
I can't even get a heinie for the road. it's even set up that same way that like as far as product placement goes, when like Pitbull, like they were like, oh, if you say Kodak 15 times, then we'll give you $1 million. And he was like, I take a picture with my Kodak of a Kodak, and then there's a Kodak, and you Kodak your Kodak, and Kodak. And it's like, why is he saying Kodak so much?
Who is this?
Pitbull. This like
the rapper.
The
is
rapper.
It a rapper?
It's a
singer.
What is it? What is a Pitbull anyway?
You say what is it?
I do. He is an entertainer.
Okay.
He's a DJ. He's a guy that shouts. I mean, he is now all but irrelevant, but at the time he was picking up on this thing. McDonald's did the same thing, where they would offer rappers certain amounts of money if they got certain amount of airplay with them saying McDonald's in a rap. It was fucking weird. It was a weird time. I'm sure there's still some of that stuff going on now, but ugh. Commercialism. I hates it. But yeah, they go out of their way to say Heine a lot of times. So Grandpa and the nope, sorry. Skipped ahead. So while Dad's hammering on the satellite dish, it gets hit by the alien ray from outer space, which brings the satellite back online, and the TV works great, and the family rejoices. Woo! I can go back to watching the new Noodles video. But instead of going and watching the Noodles video, they go into the living room and they pull out the huge, hilarious remote control.
I love it, man.
Love it. And he shows the family new dimensions in TV pleasure, which includes kung fu movies, war documentaries, porn on Channel 69, and WASP videos on MTV that are just rehashed footage from the Dungeon Master movie. Charles Band.
School of Roger Corman Recycling.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I love that stuff. It's great. And then some... So they get into a big fight over the remote control, which causes the box outside to blow up again, and some crazy poltergeist shit flies out of the TV, and Medusa's Midnight Horror Marathon gets queued up.
Now, I find this fascinating. This girl that played Medusa, Jennifer Richards. I sent you that. I don't know if you watched that clip I sent you. She was on the Johnny Carson show.
Why was she on Carson?
I don't know. I only noticed, like, when I was at work one night, we had the antenna TV playing the old shows. It plays old Carson reruns. And I was like, who is that?
I watched it, and they weren't like, oh, in your new project. They were like, boobs and boobs.
They just talked about boobs, and then Eddie Murphy sat there and was like, hey, boobs.
Yeah. Boobs. And it's like, was she just famous for having boobs?
Pretty much. But like you can see her range in her acting. Like she does a bunch of different voices.
It sucks because she's really good.
She is. And then she totally burned Carson too when she had him turn his back and asked him what color her eyes are, and he couldn't because they just talked about the boobs the whole time. I thought that was great. But at the beginning of that, they're talking about her new show, Women Behind Bars, which is a funny take on women in prison stuff. I can't find any mention of that show on IMDb or existence or anything.
It's like they made it up.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's like they just had her on because she had boobs, and then they were like, it's so weird.
It's so weird, but she's sitting there right next to Eddie Murphy. Like
yeah. I mean,
how is she there?
Yeah, no, I don't get any of it. I saw her. I went through her IMDb, and
she's been in a couple things. She's
been
been
in some
vanished
stuff,
for years. Yeah,
she definitely there's hide nor hair of her anywhere on the internet as like a person. Like you can't find her anywhere.
Yeah, and she does a funny voice on Carson, and you can tell when she's in this. She does. She's funny. The Medusa is all an act, and then when she's playing the normal person, it's a completely different voice. Like you would maybe assume to see a bunch of voice acting credits even, but nothing. Yeah. She's just kind of there and gone.
It sucks because she is really good. Yeah. And it's a bummer, and I have a horrible feeling that this is one of those things where she was like, you know what? I think maybe I've been objectified for maybe enough time, and maybe I'm gonna move on with my life.
Yeah.
And just get the fuck away from here, because that Carson thing was honestly.
It was cringy.
It was painful.
That shit now.
It was.
Talk about a time capsule.
Can you imagine if somebody did that today? Yeah. That would be. They would shut down production on that show the next day. It would be like, okay, well, sorry, everybody's fired, and you can all go home now. But wow, insanity. Yeah. Whatever. Okay, so this is the part where Robot Monster plays, and it's got the weird overdub.
Okay.
So Grandpa's now fucking around with the remote some more. He nearly breaks it this time, like, because everybody who plays with the remote almost breaks it. But eventually, he stumbles into our alien. And we just watch it drip slime in the TV. He's like, flips over, and they're like, oh, huh. There's
a David Lynch movie.
Yeah, they're just watching it and they're like, do something!
Yeah!
Why is it just sitting there? And they're like, well, whatever. They flip the channel away from it, but then they fall asleep, and while they're sleeping, the monster comes out of the 13-inch TV.
I love how he comes out, too. I love that they didn't just do the normal blue
too.
electricity.
I'm
All the
so
colors
glad.
look so great.
I mean, I'm so glad that they didn't bother trying something stupid here, like some sort of like video like overlay effect or anything like that. They were just like, no, it happens off screen. Shut up.
Yep.
You know, like Video Dead. You know, that whole thing where it's like, we got to get a person out of a 10-inch TV.
Yeah.
How do we do that? Well, we have them put their arm out, and then we go to another scene, and then we show their feet. Solved. That's fine.
But I just love all the little Technicolor lightning bolts, all the yellow and blues and green.
It's very Ghostbusters-y.
Yeah.
So Grandpa and the kid wake up to the monster sitting in front of them, and they scream and hide behind the couch. And once they see the coast is clear, they run to Grandpa's bomb shelter to break out the firepower, as Grandpa says.
This is such a wacky house, man. They got Grandpa living in it. They got a swimming pool inside. All the sex art everywhere. The statues.
I can't imagine. I mean, as crazy as this house is, it's crazier to imagine the fact that they built it intentionally.
Yeah.
Like every inch of this place is to spec. Mm-hmm. Like someone said, this is exactly what I need for this thing. And it's perfect, but it's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that room with the pool.
Well, it's not a real house. I mean,
but it was made. It's a set.
Yeah.
There is a pool there. They had to fill something with water. And
they did build a pool and fill it with water and filled it with dry ice. So when they were in that pool, they were fucking freezing.
Yeah, that's not terribly smart. It's like you could have put it in cups on the side. You could have done any number of things. But
that's like
go.
the girl swimming in pieces, where they had the 10-degree pool that she almost died.
Jesus. Why?
They probably actually enjoyed the pool scene, though, because apparently it was 90 degrees and no air conditioning there every day when they were making this movie.
Oh, that's so awful.
Yeah.
And this is the old Dino De Laurentiis studio.
And apparently when he bounced town, he ripped everything out of it. That's why they don't have any air conditioning or running water or...
It makes me laugh so much that, like, he basically gets kicked out of this studio. Like, he can't afford it anymore. And he's like, oh, fine, I'm taking all the fucking copper wiring. I'm going to sell it on the black market, and you guys can go fuck yourselves.
I'm taking these heat ducts. I'm taking these AC ducts.
What is happening? It's like a fucking meth dealer. It's like, this is not the behavior that I would expect from like a multi-millionaire like film producer.
Man, those are those kind of whack jobs that pick themselves back up and start a new studio right afterwards.
Exactly,
like,
but that's who these people are. Like every one of these motherfuckers is like
I admire their tenacity.
Right, exactly. And that's what's so cool about this. You know that Corman would do something like that. Mm-hmm. You know that fucking Charles Band would do something like that and has probably done something like that. And it's that kind of like weird hucksterism that leads to these kind of cool people existing in the world. And you kind of have to accept that if you were dealing with them in a one-on-one basis where you actually had to rely on them for your paycheck, you'd think that they were an honest-to-God monster. But from the outside, you can appreciate it in a different way. And I know that they're like, a lot of these people kind of sucked, you know, and like, but you know, it also trained some really amazing directors when they got underneath, you know. Yeah. Lloyd Kaufman, you know, he paid everybody in cheese sandwiches. Yeah. And but then you get a James Gunn.
I'd love a cheese sandwich from Uncle Lloyd.
It's so sad. That was craft services was like white bread and craft American singles, like generic craft singles. Yikes. Well, they didn't starve to death, so that's important. Okay, so Grandpa's now armed with an M16, and
you know your guns.
no, actually the kid has an M16, and Grandpa actually has an old something or other. It looks like a Thompson or something. It's a weird gun that he has. But they... So, okay, hold on. So the repair guy comes in the middle of the night to repair whatever. Okay. He won't do repairs. Oh, he will do repairs. He won't install, but he'll do repairs.
He just covers repairs.
And so he shows up and basically breaks into their backyard and goes to repair their satellite dish. And so Grandpa and the kid have their automatic weapons, and they run out to the backyard. They're like, somebody's trying to steal the SATCOM or whatever Grandpa says. And so they go out and hold him at gunpoint in their backyard.
Oh, you kids.
You kids. Grandpa and Sherman quickly let him go so that they can go recon the house because they believe his outrageous story that he's a satellite repairman who shows up at 10 o'clock at night.
He just wanted more beer.
He wanted to steal more beer.
More Heinies.
Yeah.
In particular.
But as soon as they leave the repair guy, the alien pops out of nowhere and eats him. Unfortunately, we don't get like a real kill here. We got so many fun effects kills in this movie.
We do. They don't want to burn out too fast.
It's true. I would have liked something though.
Yeah.
Like this was the only
first kill you got to be a total off.
Yeah.
Off screen.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So Grandpa goes to get a drink, and the monster does another pop out of the TV deal, and this time he grabs Grandpa, picks him up by the head, and turns him into a pile of green goo.
This movie's got a bunch of green blood.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it
works.
It's so much better. Like red blood would have been so much less interesting than this. Mm-hmm. I love a movie with like weird, pointless, like fluid colors. I like Phantasm yellow. I like Evil Dead green. I like, I like it when
Street trash.
The street trash blue. Fuck yeah. That's the kind of stuff I think is really fun.
Yeah, it is funny too because when I watched this as a kid, this has been one of my favorites forever. When I watched it as a kid, it bothered me when I first started watching horror movies.
Really?
And I first started, letting my dad sneak rent them for me on the weekends, or, this one came and like I wanted that bloodbath, I wanted that gore, and I was just like, why are they giving me green blood? This is like kiddie stuff, and I remember getting bothered by it. Now that I watch it.
That's
now
funny.
I'm just like, this is cool. Like this is different and neat, and I love it now. But as a kid, I felt like I was getting gypped. Like I rented an R-rated movie. I want red blood.
Yeah, I can see how a little kid would feel that way. Yep. But definitely for me, this is like that is my favorite. It's one of the things about Phantasm that really sticks with me. Mm-hmm. Like when the death in part 2 when they finally take out the tall man. It's like that just yellow shit blowing everywhere is so much grosser than it would be if it was blood.
Yep.
Like just
you got mustard in your veins.
He's like custard man.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I haven't had a good custard in years.
Yes.
We can't afford actual sound clips.
No.
So.
Of course not.
And Michael Winslow over here.
Yes. Oh, so when the monster kills people, he basically melts them and turns them into a pile of green goo, which he then
slurps up with his super tongue.
He does not lick it. Like his tongue does not lick things up. It just flops on it falls.
But the sound sells it.
Oh, 100% sells it. It's disgusting and hilarious. And it is like everything else in this movie. It's the only thing like it you'll ever see. Mm-hmm. There's no comparison. So, all right. What do we got here? So Sherman sees this happen and he runs down to the fallout shelter and calls the police. Shocker, the police don't believe him. But turns out there's a TV in the bunker, and we get some Scooby-Doo like swiping from the TV with the alien claw and missing, that kind of stuff. And then now that the parents are back from, what was the name of the club?
Oh shoot, I forgot.
Fuck.
Did they mention that?
They do.
They do?
There's some sort of stupid club name, but the parents go out to some swingers club, and they've brought another swinger couple.
These guys are great.
These guys are amazing.
Spiros.
Spiros.
A manly man.
Manly man. And also this incredibly like pitch perfect, like crazy LA bimbo character.
Mm-hmm.
She is like, I mean, I think that they're all based on what's her name, the pink Camaro and billboards in LA.
What are you talking about?
I think she's the prototype for all of these characters. Do you not know who I'm talking about?
No.
Oh man.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, it
Pink
sucks.
Camaro and
Yeah, there's this woman who basically is like this LA fixture, and she essentially lives off dudes who just will pay for everything for her. She's got big fake boobs and a big fake pink Camaro, and she drives around. She's one of those one-named kind of characters. It sucks. I'll remember it at some point.
I think you just made this up.
Sure. I know a couple of people from LA who have like firsthand experience with her, like in the 90s and 2000s when she was verging on old.
Okay.
So it makes it even more interesting, and she still lives that same way.
Meh.
But she's this oddly famous character.
Okay.
My God, I'm gonna have to edit this now so that I literally come in just like, her name was Monique, but because it's going to drive everyone insane. Either way, okay. So
basically every character in this is an exaggerated parody of people.
Yes.
These are just these swanky swinger and that total airhead played to a T. Yeah.
Perfect. So Sherman comes out, tries to yell to mom and dad that Grandpa was eaten by a monster.
I like to, like, I forgot her name, but she asked if he'll be joining us too, like for the swinger part. I was like, what? I hope that was a joke.
I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, let's face it, there's some things that didn't age well in this movie. I will say that a lot of people talk about how the weird homophobia of this thing. It's pretty mild as these things go.
These things can go really weird.
I mean,
this one doesn't. This one strikes me as a funny misunderstanding. I don't even think it's like a homophobia thing per se.
It's like, oh no, I'm straight. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I thought you weren't. Okay, it wasn't like there was no judgment, and I feel like there's a lot of like in this situation in an 80s movie, you think these things are gonna go terribly.
Fuck, even a 90s movie. I forgot what I was watching. I think it's Ski School 2.
Oh.
Like they did a big prank where they filmed two of the guy characters to get revenge and like broadcast the video to make it look like they were lovers, and that was like the big bad thing. And I'm just like watching this being like, what? And then everybody's like disgusted that these guys were kissing. And I was just like, oh, guys, this is like 95, man. Like,
well, that might just be a director issue, but I mean, I guess I don't remember. Maybe the 90s were pretty bad too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
that was the one that blew Sarah and I away this year when we were watching. It was Ski School 2. There was just a lot of like homophobic slurs even, and it's
crazy.
Just like weird, man.
That's crazy. But I mean, if it was filmed in Boston, it could have been filmed this year, so
Bad mouth in Boston?
Oh God, I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
We're getting all of Boston guys.
Oh
gonna
shit!
Be mad at us.
Go Pats is what I meant to say.
Yeah, Sox win. It's all the home runs.
Yep, I like socks. I wear them. I wear them every day.
It's stickball good guys. Dunkin' Donuts.
Fucking go to Dunkies.
Fucking pay us. We said Dunkin' Donuts 15 times.
We said Dunkin' Donuts on the podcast. Somebody fucking pay us. All right, so now we get this. So we've gotten Mom. She's pissed off, so she's like, oh well, fuck this, and throws the kid down into Grandpa's dungeon
and locks the door with a
chain.
padlock. What if there's a damn fire?
Who cares?
Yeah, I guess they probably wouldn't burn out the bomb shelter.
I mean,
I guess
honestly,
they would technically be safe. Yeah.
Probably they'd be safe.
Now I think about it,
like ventilation and all that shit. Yeah, probably okay. Okay, so let's see.
Oh, is Grandpa already taken control at this point? Oh yeah, he was already dead.
Grandpa's already
We get that great
dead.
setup for the joke further on, where the mom's like, "Grandpa, you there? Oh yes,
Right,
yes, dear,
that's
just
what
taking
happens
care of
right
business."
here. Yep. So
Can Sherman come in? Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm
Yep.
just taking care of business.
that's what happens here, and it's straight up Rob Bottin stuff. Like, this is like The Thing Redux effects. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful effects. And they do that whole shtick with the actors' heads coming out of the monster.
Yep.
So
It's Beekler.
yeah, I mean,
He's been a guest on this show before too.
I mean, it goes without saying that he is one of the greatest of all time. And this was his fuck off thing too. Like, he was doing two things at once.
Yeah, he was also editing Troll while this
Yeah.
was being made. I was watching a special feature thing with Ted Nicola there about this, and he was mentioning Beekler about making the monster, and he said something really funny. Maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everything that John Beekler makes, it looks like him. I wanted him to make a monster that didn't look like his face, and I've started thinking about it. And
I know.
It's strangely true.
I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I mean,
Then you start
that
thinking of the
fucking
ghoulies and the
ghoulie.
Jewels and everything. You're like, holy
Ghoulie.
shit, dude keeps making himself in monster form.
I mean, true. He was looking for something crazy when he designed this monster. He was like, make it look like nothing that could exist. It was
And they
supposed to be
did.
completely asymmetrical.
Yep.
There's just like random shit sticking out everywhere. And then because of the Charles Band thing, where it's always like, well, it was on the poster.
It's on the poster. Get me a
like,
damn arm with a
Okay,
eyeball.
then I guess
Or we don't even know if that's an arm. They made it one.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
a dick with an eyeball on it. Who gives a shit? And so, sure, it's got an eyeball on it.
I want to know who drew the poster.
Good question.
Because it's not like a cheap... You think if you're just making a poster for a movie that doesn't even exist and you don't even have a plot for, like, you just whip up some corny drawing. But, like, it's a really good drawing. Like,
Yeah.
Who got paid that... And that can't be like a freebie job. Like
No.
an artist would do it all.
That's the thing, is that like Canon and Full Moon and any of these companies that did the pre-sales by poster, they paid real money. Like the artist probably got a couple grand for this poster.
Yep.
They hired airbrush artists who back in the day could make real money doing posters. Obviously, that skill is now all but dead.
So sad.
It really is. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm sure Charles paid as little as he possibly could for the posters, but
What?
oh, I know, it's crazy.
You burn your band
What a-
bridges, buddy.
Yeah, he would never admit to saving money on things.
You have totally burned all your
yeah,
band
I'm
bridges.
sure.
It's never going to get on a show now.
I love how they were talking about all of these things. It was like, I really wanted Frank Zappa, and I was like, maybe John Williams would do the soundtrack. And then I asked the Pope to come by to do this thing, but then we finally settled on Albert Band.
Yeah, Richard Brand.
Well, Richard Band. Why did you settle on Richard? Oh, right, because he was there going, hey, I'm over here. I have to do the soundtrack to everything at Full Moon. And but
I'm
honestly,
Charles' brother, and I work like super cheap. I don't know if he works super cheap.
I don't know if he does.
He does good stuff though.
I
have no
love
problem
his,
with Richard Band music.
That's the thing that's funny, is that like I don't actually hate him.
No.
You know, like I think he's very talented, and it's one of those nepotism things that works out nicely.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out well. We were just before we went on, we were talking about the movie Forbidden Zone, and it's like fucking Richard Elfman, man. Good job with Danny Elfman on your soundtrack.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty good. You know?
So I got to see that movie.
I'm
just going to admit it to the world. I haven't seen Forbidden Zone.
That
Sorry.
sequel's coming out soon,
Oh, really?
I think.
Oh, wait. Is that one of those things they've been talking about for...
Kinda is, and he's been saying that one of the bands that we've played with, that Covered in Bees has played with a couple times, this band called the Radioactive Chicken Heads, are supposed to be doing the whole soundtrack.
Oh, I
And
know
so
of them. They're a big costume band, right?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They're amazing.
Do they have the big Carrot Head guy singing for them? Or is that something else?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I think that was their thing.
Okay.
It was hard to remember because both times we played with them, we were also playing with green Jello, and so all those costumes kind of
yep.
just mixed together, and I didn't know what was what. but they all smelled terrible, and they looked cool on stage.
Oh, I bet they're rank.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, and they just say, "Hey, random crust punk, you want to put on this costume?" Good call. That's great. So a new crust punk at every stop puts on the costume and sweats in it.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Somewhere in there is the virus that will wipe out mankind. It's in one of those heads. Okay. So Sherman is now in the room with newly aliened Grandpa, and he's searching around. He's like opening. He knows that this is the fucking monster. He knows there's a monster. He knows that it's the size of a fucking sedan, and so he opens the lockers to look inside to see if the sedan-sized monster is in there. Shocker, he is not. He does not fit into one of those little lockers, and he also is nowhere else to be seen. And we cannot see this monster anywhere. So
He's good at hiding.
I guess he's gone back into the TV.
Sure.
Now our couples are getting weird and swingy. The high-pitched bikini model lady gets into the pool, and
I love Garrett Graham's line delivery when he walks out to get his bathing suit. He's just like, "Oh man, that bikini is dynamite!" It's just, I love the cartoony nature of this movie. Everything's just so hokey.
It is so wonderfully hokey. Mind-blowingly hokey, but good stuff. Okay.
Raquela's making a drink with Spiros.
Spiros.
A manly man.
A manly man. And he's an Italian man who is into Greek culture, I think is what
I thought he was Greek.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe he's just a Greek man. Okay. All right, he's talking with a weird Italian accent, so maybe I'm just imagining that. Maybe it's just because they're in Italy filming this.
They are in Italy.
So, all right. So the alien is like kind of peeping in through the TV on the bikini model in the pool, and then that gets cleared off, and we see the other alien. Whatever his name is, the guy that runs Pluthar, the operator of the sanitation station,
who made the big oopsie poopsie that might just kill all of your civilization. Sorry about the inconvenience.
Yes, I enjoy his line. I don't think it's here. I think it's later, but he's like, just destroy all forms of communication for 200 Earth years, and you might be able to save yourselves.
He's got some great lines.
He does. He has some good lines. So the after he leaves, then Medusa comes back on TV and starts taking phone calls, and so obviously the first person to call gets straight through to her without an operator.
That's what happens.
That's what happens. So
you ever try calling like the radio for a request? You always, or to win tickets or anything, you always get
right
answered
through.
Yep.
So Sherman explains the situation with the monster and the aliens and all this other stuff, and she irrationally hangs up on him like a dick.
Yeah. It's a very Fright Nighty kind of thing here.
It is. And then she does a weird little prank to Sherman to one person.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. She does a little thing where she's like, Sherman, come to the screen, and she beckons him forward, and he gets really close to it, and then she has like a hand puppet monster that bites the screen, and he gives him a little jump scare. Weird. I loved it.
Yeah.
This is where we realize that Spirou actually wants to have sex with Stanley.
Whoa.
And then so
that's a misunderstanding.
It sure is. And it doesn't go any further than that. It's just kind of like, oh, oops. So Spirou sees his bikini model girlfriend in the pool, but there's fog everywhere, so you can't see that there's actually a monster underneath her head.
Yeah, she must be like she must be connected to the big top of the monster.
Right, so like the monster is like underwater breathing through her head, we can only assume.
He's crazy. He's got lots of monster skills.
Yeah, and just like the rest of this Bob Botten shit, we get the fucking chest alligator here, where he goes in to see his girlfriend, and we get an alligator kill, which is great. Just the big teeth come out of the pool.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Snap on him. Sort of like the chest compression one.
Yes, I was thinking like an actual alligator for some reason. I was like, what are you fucking doing?
Either way.
What did I miss?
So, Mom and Dad go to investigate. Monster kills them both, and there's a lot of green goo. This was they get dispatched pretty quick.
Oh, dude, you know what? We completely skipped over OD's entrance.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Of meeting OD. He's such a great character.
Oh, he is the best.
John Grease from Monster Squad and Fright Night 2. Great dude. You like metal, little dude? Kiss the boot.
Kiss the boot. Kiss this.
But yeah, so he'll come back.
Oh, yes, he will definitely
just kind of shocked
be
me
back.
that we forgot his
I don't know.
intro and his
oh my God.
his nice demeanor with the parents.
He's phenomenal. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? Okay. Oh yeah, okay. This is now OD, because OD and the sister went out to another party.
Yes.
So they finally come back, and
they see the parent puddles everywhere. Sherman now wires his door with C4 and blows it up to get out of the bunker. And he gets out and tries to keep his sister and OD from getting eaten, but they don't believe that there's a monster here. So they go to the parents' pleasure dome and see all the goo floating in the pool. And the sister and Sherman go looking for the parents upstairs in the bedroom. And we get the Bob Carroll, Ted and Alice reveal where they're all sitting in bed together. And that great grandpa joke, too. I'm here too, honey. Just taking care of business.
Disgusting.
It's classic.
And she is so grossed out because not only are they swinging together, they're swinging with Grandpa.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It is a lot of weird. So
I love the whole look of it too. Their heads in the bed just constantly.
And it's like
undulating.
It's like 1,000 rats under the blankets. It's just like everything is just moving constantly. It's disgusting.
But their heads are completely still. So
well,
great.
yes, and they're set up with the as a parody of the poster for Bob Carroll, Ted and Alice. So okay, the alien comes back on. He does the warning again, and this time I love this. This is such a trope from the 80s for the metal guy. When somebody's writing a metal guy and they don't know, they've never met a metal guy before. He's doing air guitar to everything.
Yeah, that's what all metal guys do.
It's like the alien comes on and starts talking about how they're all in danger, and he's like, yeah, I'm playing along to this warning of danger.
Dude, I've constantly seen you organizing a shop while doing that. I don't even think you realize you're doing it.
Just constantly, bro.
Yeah. That's what you metalheads do.
You gotta rock out, bro. Yes.
Dude's totally metal. Yeah.
It's such a high level of rocking.
Yeah.
So if you can rock out to an abstract concept, that is a transcendental level of rocking. So we get more poltergeist shit here, and the monster materializes, and OD says, "Whoa, psychedelic!"
Got some cool colors when he comes out.
True, there are cool colors. Sherman shows up and opens fire on the monster, but it's no use. It goes out to eat OD, but then he sees his gauntleted hand, and he holds up, and he's reminded of his kindly keeper, or his kindly owner, who also wore studded gauntlets and fed him.
Yep.
And OD, of course, realizes that this means he's into metal. He looked at my studs and cooled out. This dude's into metal.
This is like that alien in that movie that made you cry like a butthole.
Remember the movie about the space dude that made you cry like a butthole?
He's got the best lines. And they mostly involve butthole.
That is one of the funniest lines in any movie ever. I love that line so much. Remember the movie about the space dude that made you cry like a butthole? I don't know. And so OD's like, he fed him like the little candies. So here, dude, have some cigarettes. I think he's feeding him cigarettes. I don't know what he had in his pocket. It looked like cigarettes.
I didn't think they were cigs. I thought they were like, I don't know, rock candy maybe.
Sure, cause he likes metal.
Well, if this was a Spielberg, they would edit it like that. You'd be like, oh, it's not cigs anymore. It's rock candy.
Right. This dude likes heinies. He must party.
Yeah. Oh, they're root beers now.
And now they're cell phones.
Yeah.
So they pile a bunch of food on the table.
I love this shot just for the packaging.
Good. It's
just
so good.
just for another time capsule. Like,
Yep.
You remember those boxes when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah.
It's so neat to see like the difference in.
This is all the shitty
like
junk food from your childhood. They teach him to say food, and then they play him some music. It's almost as important as food.
I love too OD here. It's like, it's like some nice like Lawrence Welk stuff. Oh, don't listen to that. That'll rot your brain.
Don't listen to that. That'll rot your brain.
Ooh, bad tune, dude.
Check this out. This is my band.
I wrote this.
I wrote this song. And so he, of course, does air guitar through the whole thing. And the monster does not like this.
The monster is not a metalhead.
Monster turns out to not be a metalhead. They try to teach him English, and he sneezes some green mashed potatoes on the kid. They decide that for some reason having this alien is going to make them $1 million, but they just need to get him on TV somehow.
Yeah.
Who do they know that's on TV?
The girl that just hung up on me last time I said monster.
We're best friends now.
Yeah.
So of course Sherman calls the Medusa show again, and they invite her to a party that they're having for the monster or something.
Yeah. All they had to say was there was a party. And she was like, I'll be right there. Come on.
The monster's getting impatient with the quality of the TV too, which like he's watching stuff.
Which is hilarious.
Hate this, whatever.
Yeah.
So the cops show up to arrest Sherman for making prank phone calls to the police station.
I guess.
His
one call?
Yeah, that seems right.
Wouldn't you like investigate this first before? I mean, he had the warrant fast too.
It's impressive. They got nothing else to do.
I guess not.
I mean, they're out in like Sherman Oaks or something.
That's just like shit. What was the other movie we covered with the cops that didn't do anything? One of the Slumber Party Massacres or something, maybe.
Oh, Warlock.
Well, yes, that's right.
Warlock was the worst with police. Like, oh, this guy just whipped my hand. Well, we'll let him out. It's fine.
Yeah, somebody trying to kill me. Yeah, right.
Click.
What?
Wow. Yep. So, let's see. The cop comes in, and he makes it about 2 feet before the monster melts his hand off and then eats him.
Yeah. This cop's funny. He's got like no role at all.
Nope.
He's just like, here, arrest somebody. Whoa, hachi machi pit.
Yeah. But now, Sherman has a plan to stop this monster. He smashes out the TV and then breaks out the heavy artillery. And the heavy artillery is the same gun that hasn't worked yet. But, whatever, that's fine. They go looking for the monster, and they find that OD's been melted into a pile of goo in the shape of a Gibson SG.
I never noticed that until this watch, that he was a guitar-shaped puddle.
Yep.
After, I think I rented this movie the first time when I was maybe 13.
It's
when I first saw it.
It's a pretty oblique shot. It's not like they went directly down on it or anything.
No.
It's like it's kind of.
And I didn't even notice it when I noticed it when I was watching a different person's video talking about this movie, who mentioned that, and that his bracelets make the frets on the guitar and everything. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, how did I never see this?
Yeah, that's weird.
It was really fun. Fun fact that I just never noticed.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows what else I missed?
So after finding OD, they go up to the bedroom where the parents were, and they find a giant pile of goo in the bed. And so that's all that's left of them.
Oh, I also love, too, when OD dies. We just glossed over that. The shut up butthole line when the alien's freaking out.
Yes.
And he's just like, shut up, butthole.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That was the...
I think OD says, like, butthole in like 5 or 6 sentences, and it's so great.
Yeah, the monster's like, so now the monster's like sitting in a pool watching an alien invasion movie.
It's so great.
And he's like
laughing.
chuckling. He's like, oh, like this. And Sherman and his sister try to sneak up from behind and like electrocute him or something. Sherman grabs the remote.
Which is hilarious because, like, dude, he's been going through electronics.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, whatever.
Well, what the hell else, man? You got a weird turd monster in your house. You try everything.
Try whatever you got.
I don't blame him. I'd probably do the same thing.
So, but unfortunately, Sherman slips in one of the goo piles, and the alien
Whoopsies.
grabs him by the leg with his tentacle. He cuts the tentacle off, and Sis throws the remote in the pool, and then more poltergeist shit happens, and Pluthon, the space guy, comes through to save them. He's like, "Hey, oh, sorry. This is a thing that's called a hungry beast, and it's a house pet that mutated, and I'm here. Don't worry. I've got this gun that will stop him, and I can save you."
And my favorite too. I can bring your parents back. What, like clones? Oh no, they'd be your real mom and dad, but they'd have to live in a special aquarium.
Special aquarium. Yeah, it's all so good. It's all. I love the fact that he brings up. This is such a meta movie for being so early. Like, he brings up the idea of like the happy ending that the Spielberg movie would have. He's like, "Don't worry, I can bring your mom and dad back, and I'm here. I'm the Deus Ex Machina that's going to save the day. And oh yes, of course, I can do all of these things." And then Medusa comes. She walks in from behind and then smashes the globe on his head, which apparently depressurizes him and his head explodes. Just boom.
Yep.
Like, oh.
It's hilarious.
Oh, shit. Oops. Okay.
And it's so unexpected.
It is. It's ridiculously unexpected. I've seen this movie 100 times, and every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's fucked up.
Yep. I am the answer to all the... oh, shit, never mind.
Yeah, good stuff. So now the hungry beast, like, legitimately Kool-Aid Man's through the wall. And Sherman's got the alien's gun, but he can't get it to work. And he's like, now the hungry beast is like literally like sucking everything.
It's like a giant wind tunnel.
Yeah. Everything's going into its mouth and whatever. And they're all dead.
Yeah.
And that's it. They're fucking all dead.
Cheers.
That's it. And then we cut out to the car and we see the assistant for Medusa asleep in the car. And he gets woken up by Medusa screaming. She's like, "Come on, gotta get back to the studio." And then you realize that she's all covered in goo and she's clearly part of the monster. Mm-hmm. And she's about to go beam herself. Come on. She's going to beam herself out into all of the other TV stations across the world and eat everybody.
Yeah.
The end. Wow.
I am shocked that this movie doesn't have a sequel.
I mean, it
failed
failed so bad.
Yeah.
I would say that
I'm shocked that this movie failed so bad.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's a direct sequel or anything, but Bad Channels is definitely a spiritual sequel to this.
Oh, hell yeah.
And also, Bad Channels is a great movie.
Yes, we should do that.
We should absolutely do that. I haven't seen Bad Channels in years.
Oh, it's been a few years for me, too.
And it's like one of my favorite movies. And there's a band in that I was obsessed with for a while. And I was like, these guys have to be some other band under a different name.
Is that the costume circus band?
Yeah.
People? Yeah, I forgot who they were, too. But
They're
I remember
like
loving
some sort of like proto-bungle.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
They sounded like Scatterbrain or Bungle or any of those like channel surf bands. And I was like, these guys must be a thing. And like, I couldn't find hide nor hair of those guys either. They're like another like they're another Confusatron. You know, they're just another super talented band that just kind of, you know, were only locally known.
Yep.
Too bad. It's good stuff. Yeah. What a great choice. We should do that one.
Yeah.
Shit, let's do that next. I can't wait to see Bad Channels again.
We can do Bad Channels. I also want to do. I got a viewer request.
Ooh.
From my Bobby Knipe of Universe Retro. Really wants us to do My Demon Lover.
Okay. All right. So that is not a horror movie, firstly.
Oh, come on.
But I will say, I have seen My Demon Lover more times than I don't even know. I've seen it a lot of fucking times because there was a time when I was like sick a lot as a kid, and we had this extended, like, they forgot to shut off our preview of like Showtime. Like one of those things where they do the like week-long preview where they unscramble it.
That seems like such a niche movie to try to drag viewers in with.
And it was like every fucking day. I was sick for a week or something, and it would play like 3 to 4 times a day or something like that. And I watched it every time because I was a kid, and so I was like, I'm a kid. I watch any movie. Any movie is a good movie, and that movie was very like specific to being a kid.
Either way, we got to do that movie.
Fine, fuck it, we'll do it. It's you know what?
Let's do it for Bobby.
It's tangentially a horror movie, right? It's like, I mean, the guy, he's Pazatski'd. What is he?
Dude, it's been a while. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
I think he's Pazatski'd. I think is what they called it. And so whenever, oh God, it's been a long time. I seriously haven't seen this movie since I was a kid, but in my memory, every time he gets a boner, he turns into an actual demon.
Yes.
And in my memory, the demon looked awesome.
It does.
Man.
See, now you're psyched.
And it was...
now you're pumped.
I was like, but look, I mean, when you think about Trick or Treat, greatest heavy metal horror movie of all time, which was where Skippy went from Family Ties, and then Scott Valentine from Family Ties went to My Demon Lover. I mean, there's no competition here. I mean, Skippy really won out.
Yeah.
I mean, Ragman really kicked his ass on
it's hard to beat the
movie choice.
It's hard to beat the king.
You can't compete with Ragman.
I love the Ragman.
But no, I do have a sincere fondness for that movie, and it is a movie I haven't seen since I was a kid. And speaking of movies like that, if we're gonna do that, then we have to do whatever that insane puppet movie is that Making Contact.
Oh, okay, yep. I'll do that. I've never seen that, so I'll do that with you.
Considering that was a movie that gave me nightmares for like my entire childhood, I have to do that one.
These are all movies we can get to on the next 100 episodes.
Once we break off the next 100 episodes. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. 100 episodes. And what have we learned?
Fucking nothing.
Nice. You know what? That's great. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, I've learned a lot of fun facts.
That's true. I have too.
That I never would have known if we hadn't watched movies multiple times.
Dude, and seriously, that is funny. And another thing is that I have watched movies differently for this. Mm-hmm. Like, I never realized how passively I watch movies.
Same.
Until I started doing this podcast.
Yep.
Because...
then you start questioning motivations. I never did this before. I just wrote along with it. Yeah.
And I mean, more than that, it's like like there are giant chunks of movies that I'm like, I don't remember that scene. What the hell is this? And it's like a movie I've seen 50 times. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, I just kind of watch movies in the background. Like a lot of time they're just background noise.
Oh yeah.
And it's nice to take some of those movies that...
and it's even worse now when it's so easy to get distracted by your phone, too,
yes,
or other things when you're watching a movie.
So
I've done that before. You know, you're watching a movie, then all of a sudden you're just like, you get a notification, and then you're like, oh shit, I missed like everything that went on in the last 10 minutes. I've even done that watching movies for this before. And all of a sudden I'm just like, shit,
oh yeah.
I'm glad you're great at taking notes.
Well, that's the thing, is that since I take notes, like as soon as I get distracted and whatever, it's like, oh shit, you gotta stop. Well, and what's funny is I think like sometimes that happens to me too, because I think I missed OD's entrance in the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, shit, I didn't fucking put that down. But yeah, so this is awesome. I mean, mostly I did this because I was like trying to write stuff, and I was like, I need to get back into story structure of movies that I like. Mm-hmm. You know, because all of the story structure of like when you go to school for this shit, like when we were in school and they're like, here's how you do a screenplay, it's like, this was the screenplay for the movie adaptation of Death of a Salesman. It's like, guess what? I was never going to fucking watch that.
No.
You know, it's like, we're going to break down this, like, 7 movies that you hate. You know, it's like, oh, I can see why it's good, but I don't see why a person would enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so now I get to actually watch shit that I enjoy and see what makes that stuff tick, which is really fun. And I don't know, I think it's way better than trying to analyze shit that you hate.
Yeah, and this is just a really fun weekly event. I remember you were just like, hey, do you want to do a podcast, talk about horror movies? And I'm just like, yeah.
Exactly. You know?
I had no idea what to expect the first night I went to your place, where it was just like, I don't listen to any podcasts. I know there are people talking on mics. I didn't know if you, like, threw a panel together and we're going to be sitting there with, like, 6 other dudes, and you're like, no, it's just me and you. We're going to talk about a movie. I'm like, okay.
How? And and this kind of arose because I had listened to some that kind of pissed me off.
And it also, like, I also wondered exactly how. Like, I'm just like, how are we going to talk just you and me about a movie for an hour?
But that's the thing, is that, like, I listen to a lot of these people who do podcasts. A lot of them come out of, like, you know, improv backgrounds. They're all like UCB guys or whatever, and they're like, they just hit stuff to be like, here's the ridiculous part, and I'm just going for the joke, you know, and I'm like, I just want to talk about this part. And it's like, I'm always mad at those podcasts, even though I enjoy people and their craft and all that. I want to talk about the whole movie. I don't want to ignore any part of how the story structure goes together. And so that's kind of why I started doing the podcast in this weird format where we literally run it down like a story.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, you know, it's a lot different than the way that a lot of other podcasts do it, but I think it addresses a specific thing that pissed me off about certain podcasts. Like, How Did This Get Made always pissed me off with that stuff. And I was like, I like these guys, but they're constantly doing this thing. And it's just like, it's hard for me to listen to it because they don't approach it in a linear fashion. And it just kind of drove me nuts. So I'm glad that there are a few people out there who like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing to hear that people actually care what we're doing. Because, you know, I think both of us would just do this if we just were, like, recording it and then throwing it in the river.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean, you do all the tech stuff, so I never even check stats. So I never even have any idea how many people download or listen to each episode, and I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And it's also
not like we're trying to, like, reach a target for our sponsors.
No, we haven't done any of that stuff. And
except I think Heineken owes us some fucking money.
Heineken owes us some money. I will say that Heineken tastes like shit.
Yeah.
How do you know if a fucking Heineken is too old? How do you know if it's skunky? Like, every time I've had a Heineken in my life, I've been like, I think this thing's gone bad.
No, you're gonna blow our Heineken deal.
Is this okay? Maybe it's really old.
No, man, that's how you can tell it's a Heineken.
Oh, that's how you can tell that it's a quality German imported beer. It's all the time it takes to get across the ocean in a 90-degree cargo liner that gives it that delicious flavor.
Yeah, I'm not a fan myself.
And I'll drink Rolling Rock, so I have clearly a very high tolerance for garbage beer. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that there are people who are here with us who have continued down this road, and we will keep doing this for as long as I can afford to continue to make my payments to Podbean, and so that'll be the deal.
Yeah, and I'll continue to do it as long as I like watching horror movies and talking into a microphone. I kind of like that stuff.
It's pretty fun. Amazing. Well, thank you, Matt, for 100 awesome episodes.
Yes.
And
actually, they weren't all awesome.
No. Okay. Thank you for
probably 96 great episodes.
and 4 pretty good episodes.
And Damien too. And without him, none of this would be possible. He is the backbone to this podcast. He somehow got left out of the Portland Press write-up.
How did he get left out?
But this is all his.
The 3 episodes that he was on were the thing that made us what we are today.
Damien Maffei, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
And for all you do for humanity.
Yes.
I mean, let's not leave out...
You are a beautiful human being.
Not leave out his humanitarian contributions. I hear he's going to a convention about the Dukes of Hazzard this week.
He is going to the Midwest Monster Fest.
Oh, he is? I thought he was going to Dukes of Hazzard Fest in Tennessee.
Maybe he's going to that too.
He came in and told me about it. I don't know if he was joking or if he was being serious.
And you can book him on Cameo too.
You can book him on Cameo. You know what? We should totally do that. Let's book a cameo.
Let's book a cameo for Funbox Monster
one of the podcasts. Awesome. You know what? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll give him a call and I'll be like, "Hey, buddy, do a cameo for us for this episode." We'll drop it in the middle somewhere.
That'd be great.
Oh shit! You know what? I have terrible feelings that he has nothing nice to say about the movie Terrorvision because he doesn't like fun movies.
No.
If the movie doesn't depress him on some level, he doesn't like it.
Maybe he'll like this one because everybody dies.
Everybody does die in this movie, so that is something. Shiz. All right. Well,
see you next week for what? Bad Channels? We doing Bad Channels?
Good question. It might be a little too similar to this one. Maybe we'll skip that for a little while and do something
Do a
a
little
little more.
Demon Love.
Because you know what? We could do that one.
Yeah.
We've been talking about doing Amityville 2 and Amityville It's About Time.
Yeah.
And
TikTok.
there was another one.
Good.
There's a couple other things that we were talking about. So
We've only done 100 movies, and there's like at least 100 more movies out there.
almost another 100 movies out there that we can talk about. And then we'll start doing our thing where we talk about every episode of Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Which actually I would totally do.
And then we can do a new segment of your favorite Unsolved Mysteries segments.
Yes.
I like the one about twins.
Twins! Damn it. Why did you make me do that? I couldn't stop myself. Fuck you. Damn it. It's a gut reaction. Fine. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week. Good night, Matt.
Pieces.